All right, what is up, guys? All right, so one of the first things people talk to me about when it comes to getting lean is abs, right? It's the first thing you notice on someone that's extremely lean, and it's usually the first thing that most people want. So, as I'm getting ready for a competition, what do I do specifically for abs? The answer might surprise you. So in this video, we're gonna go through the three main things that I do on a daily basis to ensure that I have some ripped abs when I step on stage. So without further ado, guys, let's hop on into it.
All right, so this is point one, but it's not actually step one to getting abs. But since we're doing this vlog style, this is my morning. I start my mornings off with cardio, especially when I'm in a real cut. I do cardio 6 times a week, so basically every morning but Sunday. And what this does is it increases the total amount of calories you've burned during the day, so it allows you to eat a little bit more or lose a little extra weight while eating the same amount of calories. But all we're doing with cardio is, aside from obviously helping with heart health and your VO2 max, you're going to be helping out the amount of calories your body's burning throughout the day. However, it's not the most important thing, but it is a nice tool to help us with that energy balance and get us to lower levels of fat a little bit quicker than just dieting alone.
All right, so after morning cardio comes the most important part of the day, and that is coffee. So we are on our way to Starbucks to go get some coffee. I like to get Starbucks coffee in the morning, not because it's anything special, just because I like the idea of like going out and treating myself. And you have to find like the little things on prep that allow you to feel like, you know, they're like a special thing you can look forward to. So for me, would it be easier to just have black coffee in the mornings? Absolutely. But I like to dedicate just a little bit of my calories and a little trip in the morning to having coffee because it gives me something to look forward to. And I feel like it starts my day off with a feeling of not being like totally restricted, and it helps me be more consistent throughout the rest of the day. Which brings me to point number one for getting abs and keeping them is going to be energy balance, nutrition, right? Abs are made in the kitchen. You've heard it a million times. So first and foremost, the most important thing I do when it comes to having abs on stage is making sure that I'm in a caloric deficit to lose weight, because no matter how many exercises you do for those abs, no matter how built up they are, if they're under a layer of fat, you just won't see them. Now, you'll see them at a higher body fat percentage if you build them up, so it will help you see abs sooner, but they still won't show until you get your body fat low enough. So you have to focus on energy balance, AKA eating in a caloric deficit, first and foremost. So let me go grab this coffee and then we'll talk more about what my actual macro setup looks like and how I manipulate it to make sure I'm constantly losing weight. So I go for like not too many additives at all, right? So I just do stevia, almond milk on top of their iced coffee. It comes out to like under 100 calories. Obviously you could have like 0 calories, but I don't mind having a couple of them early on in the day. In the final weeks of prep, I'll take that out. But for the most part, it is something I really look forward to. It's one of the highlights of my day. So yeah, big tip. If you're looking for that boost post cardio, coffee hits differently.
So nutrition to get abs really just comes down to being in a caloric deficit, eating less calories than you're burning. And it's pretty simple. Now, when I'm prepping, I like to also focus on getting in the right amount of each specific macronutrient. But if you're just trying to get abs, that's even not that important. As long as you're eating in a caloric deficit, meaning that the amount of calories you're eating per day is less than the amount of calories you burn through exercise, metabolic rate, and the other activities you do in your day, then you're gonna be just fine.
Oh yeah. So I wanted to give you guys some pro tips since we're already in this section and I'm editing it right over here. So I said, you know what? Let's give some more pro tips because I felt like this answer wasn't drawn out enough. Yes, you need to be in a caloric deficit. What are some other things that can help you? Here you go. Number one is going to be eating high protein. Protein is going to make you feel full, so when you're eating less, it's going to help fill you up. It's going to make it more enjoyable and less suffering. Number two is going to be eating high volume foods, right? So you'll see a lot of us eat veggies. It's not
necessarily because we're looking to get the micronutrients, although those are great. The real reason I'm eating a lot of the veggies or putting my chicken on a huge salad is it fills me up more. The food it has volume to it, and that'll fill your stomach. So even though you're not necessarily eating things that might satiate you a ton, the protein should help with that. And the volume of all the other food, the veggies you're eating, should help fill you up. And lastly, I just want to say again, this advice is for like competitors. If you're just looking to get abs or lose weight, you're not looking to step on a bodybuilding stage, you definitely can do this a little bit slower and more sustainably so that it's not as much suffering. The levels that we get to when we compete are way different than normal people who just want abs. I mean, I have abs and I'm eating pizza on the weekends because I've got my metabolism to a place where I can handle that. So if you're looking to just get abs, I would use this advice, these principles, but you don't have to be as extreme with the dieting here. So for me personally, I'm eating 1,800 calories right now in the last 5 weeks of my prep, and it will go even lower. But if you're a guy my size, around 200 pounds and 6 feet tall, you never would need to dip below probably 2,500 calories, maybe getting you down to 2,200. We could get you abs eating at that level. The ultimate goal is to eat as many calories as possible while still losing weight. That's gonna get you the best results. Anyway, on to point number 3, and surprisingly the least important point of the whole video, is the actual ab work. So I threw together a quick ab workout here. It's actually going to be posted as a separate video next week, but I'm gonna give you some of the clips in here and explain to you just what the purpose of ab training is, because contrary to popular belief, that's not really what gives you abs. You could technically have a six-pack and never ever work out your abs in your life. So funny enough, the part that you probably thought was most important ends up being the least important part, and that's actually working out the abs directly. Now don't get me wrong, I still do this. I think it's very important to have a strong core, but my ab work is probably a little bit different than what you've usually seen. I like to mix in some direct ab work along with core stabilization moves. And I do this on purpose. First of all, because core stabilization moves are going to be just as good. Just because you don't see the muscle flexing doesn't mean that you're not absolutely working it. And in fact, doing the core work helps work more than just the abdominals. It works the entire core, which is going to give you a tighter, more cinched look, which is what you want on stage. But along with that, I do some other things when I work on the core. I really work on core control. So I try to go through full range of motion on some things. I incorporate a lot of stretching. And at the end here, you'll even see that I work on vacuum work. I don't shy away from the obliques, as I don't think you can make them overly bulky with muscle. I think it's really just a determinant of how wide your hips are. And for the most part, I try to make core work fun and quick. I'll usually work it into a morning or nighttime routine. I like to do it separate from my other training so I can kind of give it the attention it deserves and let it be its own kind of thing. I feel like it's rushed if you do it any other way. Anyway, here are those vacuums. I do this to help, with waist control and just overall having a solid core contraction. When you're better at vacuuming, you're actually better at contracting your abs, because the transverse abdominis is the antagonist muscle to the rectus abdominis. So if you want to get better with the front abs, you should also get better with the back. Not to mention, you can do some really cool poses when you learn how to vacuum. Anyway, guys, that is it for today. That is all the time that I have. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope that if you incorporate these into your daily routine, you'll start seeing some really cool improvement towards your own abs. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
Hey, I'm moving slow. I should call it a day and go home. I'ma pop one more pill for the road. Shorty say, please don't leave me alone. It's a front man.